Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, and we are coming to you from Mackinac Island, where we are in the great Grand Hotel, because this is where the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce has their annual policy conference. And right in the middle of all those discussions, as a matter of fact, is the MEDC, Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And you are Senior Vice President, Amy Rencher. And you are specifically kind of dedicated to small business, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you here. And by the way, thanks for your participation at the Michigan Small Business. And thanks for coming on stage and sharing the spotlight a little bit. Gives people a break from me. But you guys have been instrumental in helping business throughout the state of Michigan, and you in particular, small businesses. So what's the latest? You had an announcement that was big enough you could have made it up here, as a matter of fact.
That's right, Chris. And before we go further, we want to thank and acknowledge you for your hard work with regards to Michigan Celebrates Small Business. 20 years at the helm and really the face of this wonderful event we do each year to celebrate small businesses. So thank you. You are appreciated and really a poster child for a small business for the state, if I may say so.
Are you kind? And it's nice to be called the poster child. Did everybody get that?
I got to butter you up here, Chris. No, so you mentioned our big announcement, and thank you very much for bringing that up. So just before we came up here on the island, we announced $8.8 million in grants to small and medium-sized businesses across the state through the Inclusive Entrepreneurship Support Grant. And this is through the tremendous leadership of Senator Anthony, who put this into this year's state budget, and we were able to administer that on behalf of her great leadership. So many thanks for her vision there. And so this enabled us to make strategic investments in small businesses across the state in strategic sectors led by diverse individuals. And so investments for everything into clean energy, mobility, advanced manufacturing, AI, biotherapeutics. I mean, these are cutting edge technologies, homegrown here in the state with entrepreneurs, many diverse led entrepreneurs and really geographies all across the state. So it was such a pleasure and immense opportunity to really do the showcase of innovation. I'm sure we'll do more awareness around these awesome companies, but just a tremendous opportunity to really double down on our commitment to small business, to entrepreneurship writ large, right? To showcase Michigan as a place for innovation, for years to come.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this is a little like tech transfer, et cetera. And sometimes it's incredible that products and services that are developed at this stage and can't get their hands on the money to move forward, those products and services never wind up on our shelves.
That's right. And so this is, I mentioned those kind of strategic sectors and how important the investments are early on. We also do great work. You mentioned tech transfer and ongoing work in partnership with our public universities. And so university spinoffs, commercializing the technology that students have started. It's another way we can double and sort of triple down on this culture of innovation here in the state.
Yeah, and there is a culture of innovation, by golly. And there wasn't one not all that long ago. We were all into recruiting factories here and then trying to fill them with people. And now we're paying a whole lot of attention to what we used to call economic gardening.
Yes, and that's so important, right? The holistic experience of the entrepreneur. There's a great panel here with my colleague Hillary Doe earlier today, and we talked about the importance of place in this, right? We want a thriving community, we want a culturally vibrant community. We want a place where our kids can run around the park, we can get a coffee up the street. This all contributes to supporting our state's drive for talent and bringing new talent in the state and retaining the great talent we have from our public universities. So place is important, and small businesses are an important part of cultivating that place, that economic gardening you spoke.
It's so interesting. It's not just the youth that needs those things. It's the aged, because we find out, I'm the past president of AARP Michigan. I didn't know if you knew that. But we found out that a lot of their needs and where they wanted to grow old were the same as young people's needs. They want to be around other people. They want walkable. They want entertainments. They don't want to sit and watch daytime TV.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Yeah. That's so, I will say in my role, I often think about the urban rural dichotomy, right? The shared obstacles and opportunities in urban and rural communities. But I really appreciate looking at that point among like the importance of place and how it affects all generations, right? That's a wonderful insight.
Well, and it is culture building too. I think a lot of companies are paying much more attention to the culture they build so that people aren't coming to work to get a check. They're part of work and they've got some pride in that work, etc. That's part of like cultural placemaking as well.
Yeah, and that's an opportunity for us when we think about future investments into small businesses from the state's purview, right? When we think about good jobs, what does a good job mean? Some of that is equipping small business owners with the tools and expertise they need to provide these culturally vibrant workplaces.
Yeah.
Right? Good benefits, holistic supports of their staff, childcare, elder care, right? That's a whole other area for opportunity and investment in the state. But it's important, and we need to make sure that our employers, mostly small businesses, have the tools and resources and knowledge they need to be supportive of that kind of a culture.
Yeah, there's so many other things that go into the mix nowadays, and people also want a balanced life, which is important. All right. Amy Rencher, thanks so much for coming with us, Senior Vice President at MEDC, dedicated to small business, I might say. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you, Chris.
You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. We are coming to you from, well, the Grand Hotel. Where would you rather be, right? This is where the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce has their annual policy conference, and we're here for you. I'm Chris Holman. We'll be right back with more.